to check in. How are you doing? How you feeling? It's a lot going on.
Good. I just celebrated my friend's birthday. She just turned 24. So that was pretty cool.
I wonder who that was.
That was the highlight of my last couple weeks. So that was fun. But other than that, working on myself, my brand, and my extra time to kind of get the ball rolling on that. But
yeah, same. I'm doing the same thing, working. I know who that girl was. Did you celebrate your birthday?
Oh yeah.
It was me. But with everything going on in the world, it's a little damper on the spirit, but we're gonna be okay. I think something good will come out of all of this, hopefully.
I mean, for me, the highlight is that I have been able to really zone in on my brand because I was not giving my brand the attention that it needed. So with this whole quarantine thing, even though my schedule hasn't changed at all, but just the simple fact that, seeing the motivation from other people like, hey, this is your downtime, you can get things rolling, that kind of motivated me to kind of be like, okay, Jasmine, like,
let's get it together.
doing? Yeah.
How are you using this time wisely? We have all the world now that we can't really go nowhere.
Exactly.
But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started on how we got into the entertainment business. As a guest, I'll let you go first, sis.
Okay. People may know and may not know who on here who have ever met me in general. But prior to college, the Jasmine, not the Orlandis, prior to college, because I went by my first name prior to college. But I was very shy. Like, I talked to people. I was like in the crowd that was in between popular and not so popular. Like, I knew everybody, but I didn't hang out with all the popular kids, but I knew who everybody was simply because of my brother or whatever. I always like to say I lived in his shadow because he was Mr. Funny, Mr. Class. High school, he was Mr. Funny, he was Mr. Class Clown. He knew a lot of people, and I just knew a lot of people through him. But I took a class my senior year that made me realize that mass communications is what I want to major in. So the class kind of like got me into like news reporting. We did the news station thing. We learned about cameras and the basic stuff that you learn. So I was like, okay. Right. And then my cousin Tyler, she went to Winthrop, which is how I even knew about Winthrop. And I went to a golf camp because I played golf at Winthrop. And after my golf camp, my cousin Tyler toured me around. What was the MassCom building called? How did I forget that? Johnson. She toured me around Johnson, and she introduced me to a few of the professors and stuff. Took me to the dining hall. I was like, oh, this is great.
Right.
So I picked, thank you, Kayla Johnson. I picked Winthrop based off of my experience with my cousin Tyler, and she majored in the same thing. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. I had to choose between either Winthrop or what's this school in Virginia? Not Howard, but Hampton. It was between Hampton or Winthrop for me. Hampton was a little bit too far from home, but Winthrop was far enough but close enough. So I picked Winthrop and majored in mass communications, broadcasting, marketing, and marketing. So that's really the behind the scenes in my story. And of course, the whole cliche, I want to be like Roxy, I want to be like Tara J, I want to be on E! News, I want to be on 106 & Park. So growing up watching that kind of sparked my interest too. But tell us your story, sis.
Okay, so very similar. I think that's what we found out about each other, that we kind of are on the same path, as different people, of course. But for me, I knew I wanted to go in journalism, working with cameras, and something with communications. Nothing else really was like on my mind. I knew I wanted to do media and all that stuff. Toured Winthrop as well. Went ahead and did it. And actually, because you and India were a year ahead of me. So India, she was already a freshman, and she was like, my friend Orlandis is doing communications. I'm like, oh, okay. And so that's literally how we met. So shout out to India. But she was like, my friend's Orlandis doing communications, you should talk to her, blah, blah, blah. I don't think we ever talked, but that kind of pushed me to look into the communications department at Winthrop because she said you liked it. And once I got in and I was in the, we go through our generic classes and then we get to our major classes. So once I got in, we did with the close up. So I knew I loved the camera, working behind the scenes. and they taught us like Adobe Premiere, how to edit and cut stuff. And I was like, oh, I can do this all day.
Yeah.
Like that's when I fell in love, because I was like, if I can do this all day and literally just be okay, like I would just be in the classroom by myself, like editing all the time.
Editing stuff, yeah.
Yeah, all the time. And I knew that was a moment. I was like, oh, I love doing this. Like I can definitely see myself on camera somewhere. And like you said, of course, it's a cliche. Like, you know, for me, it was Lala Anthony. I did love Roxy Diaz. And then as we have grown, with seeing, you know, those women on screen and doing our own stuff, like in college and now being out of college, I have, you know, like Gia Peppers. Y'all know I love me some Gia Peppers.
Love me some Gia Peppers.
That's my girl.
Hey,
Gia
sis.
Peppers.
Hey, Gia.
Right. Hey, sis, because I know she's going to see you one day. But Gia Peppers, Danielle Young, Jordan Rowling, like it's a lot of them that I look up to now.
It's a long list, yeah.
It really is. It's a long list of Black women, love them to death. And we're going to go all the way back to like, Wendy Williams, Lala Anthony, and all of that. But they have, to me, set the pink print to me doing what I want to do. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. Oh,
I know you mentioned your aha moment. It's funny because I didn't have my "this is what I love to do" moment until after I graduated. Because, you know,
wow.
with Winthrop, it's very news based, and none of the classes that I was taking outside of that one video class where we got to do like a music video, I love that class, but it wasn't like my aha moment because I was editing and I knew I wanted to be more so in front of the camera. So my aha moment was when Tadian, shout out to Tadian Page, he hit me up to help him co-host the fashion show at one of the fashion shows for the culture. And I had already graduated. I was like a couple months out of school at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you know, you want to co-host for me, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, yeah, I want to co-host. What do you mean? Like, thanks for asking me. Thanks for thinking about me.
Right.
And then fast forward to the day of the show, which I wasn't even prepared for because it came sooner than I think. I had my dates mixed up. But I made it, and I'm like, where are you, Tadian? Like, because I'm depending on him to help me co-host.
Yeah.
And he texts me, and he's like, I'm actually not even going to be able to make it. I double booked myself. I actually had this other event. But good luck. Like, not necessarily good luck, but like, I know you can hold it down, Lando. Like, you're good. And I'm like,
okay. Let's see how this goes.
Together. So,
right.
So I get there. Of course, I'm sweating on the inside, but I ain't letting nobody see me sweat on the outside. I'm like, I got this. That was really my first time really hosting in front of a crowd and not really having much of a rundown. Like, they told me what the scenes were, but as far as the script, of course, as a host, there's no real script. You're not reading any lines. You're really just going based off of a schedule. So, they gave me the rundown of the show, and I just winged it. And then they asked me to come back this past for the culture. So it was pretty cool. And that was my aha moment. And I remember making a video after that and posting it to Instagram, you know, expressing how this is how I really knew what I wanted to do. And at that point, I was kind of getting discouraged because, you know, that depression after graduating, you know, am I really going to be doing what I want to do type stuff. So I was like, man, and then this opportunity kind of swung into my lap, and I was like, oh yeah, like that was my aha moment. Like, this is really what I want to do. So
yeah, and I think
cool for me.
I think that's really the best way to learn. Like through I think sometimes you got to be thrown out there to swim. Like, don't drown. Like, you know, just be thrown in the ocean and just see if you can do it. And you do it, and you did it, and I think you do it well. And you're being asked like every year after that because they know you can do it. So cheers to you, girl. So yeah, that's how we got into it. Let's talk about. Let's see which one we want to go to. Let's get into putting yourself out there, right? So we're out of college. We know what we want to do. We don't know where to start. I know I've had my time where I'm like, I want to do this and this, but how I'm supposed to get there?
Right.
And you have to use the resources you have. Like, we kind of already have it because, you know, luckily we don't need like a freaking, I don't know, a whole setup. Like, I want to see my setup right now. But yeah, so let's get into like putting yourself out there and believing in yourself, creating your own. I have a story I want to share, but you can go first if you want.
Go ahead.
Okay. So for those who don't know, I am in radio. And I got in radio in the promotion department my sophomore year in college. Barbie T, who's on Hot 98.1, to her and Hot 98.1. She was like, Karina, just come up here. It was like summertime. Just come up here and apply, just to get your foot in the door. So I did, got my foot in the door. And as of last year, I'm on air now. So as of last year, I'm on that talent. Thank you. But I was working with Bree Briggs, shout out to her, and Braylon, and we wanted to do this podcast show. Okay.
Yes, I remember that.
We wanted to do the podcast show. We just had like this perfect idea. It was laid out. We had the segments broke down. But we also wanted to affiliate it with the radio station. And because of the kind of radio station we are, it kind of didn't happen, which I understand because, you want to keep your ratings. It's kind of like sometimes it can be far-fetched, which we understood. But we didn't really let that get in our way. Like, we knew we wanted to do it. We were good talents. We knew we were able to provide quality content, things in a great way. So that's when we kind of broke off on our own. We had the resource right there, the radio station. So we had this huge studio, the main hot studio, where we were able to use the mics. We had one of the other personalities.
That's the hard part right there.
Yeah,
I know. The hard part. Wait, finding a space, a nice space to make it look professional.
Literally. So we had it. So we were like, we could just use this, and we came up with a schedule where we all can meet on the same day, same time, weekly to record these videos. And we had the cameras. We had cameras to look at us, and we had the mic so people could hear us. And we just went Facebook Live, and that right there taught me it taught me the lesson of not really letting anyone tell you no. Like, you can make your own yes. You don't need nobody to tell you no. Like I was thinking, I was like, wow, like, yeah, they told us no, but at the same time, if you really want it, you'll figure it out. So
that's the story of my life. That's the story behind my brand and stuff. Cause going, like I said again, going after college, applying to jobs, being told no several times, especially because I wanted to work in radio too. And I'm sitting here applying to Radio 1 in Charlotte every other day. I mean, I was even applying to Radio 1 wherever. All the listings for on-air hosts for Radio 1, I was applying to. Not only Radio 1, but I was applying to even jobs I know I didn't want, like news jobs, just to build my resume and get, because I told myself, like I said, Winthrop, very news based, is a great program, but me personally, it just didn't fit what I want to do. But I learned a lot. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. So shout out to Winthrop and their mass comm program. But I just knew that was not the lane that I was wanting to take. But I got to the point where anything in media, if it say media in it, communications, I'm applying for it. And I just never could get a job. And then, of course, they're wanting you to have this experience. But it's like, I've been in school. We all know that. Like, y'all know that meme where it's like the kids with the hard worker hats on. They be like, they want you to have 12 years experience, so you had to start working at 5. Yeah. Like, where am I getting this big? Right. Where am I going to get this experience from? And then y'all tell us to do internships. Mm-hmm. That's my experience right there. But then it's not enough. So I'm like, you know what? Like, I can't keep depending on somebody to, like you just said, to tell me yes. If I'm going to do it, I gotta do it on my own. Yeah. And that's just the outcome for some people. Like, it just happened to be the outcome for me. But some people will apply for that job and will get it, and they're good. And then people like me, I apply for a job and I don't get it, and now I gotta figure out what's my next move. Do I hopper on it? Do I say this is not for me, which I've done several times? But then an opportunity presents itself, and I'm like, okay, this is why I have to do what I'm doing. And so my brand, I got my logo after I graduated. Austin, he went to Winthrop. Austin, I forget his Instagram name. I'm sorry, but if y'all want to know where my logo got created, y'all can DM me. But Austin created my logo. The colors, there's really no significance in my colors to my logo. They just look good. I just randomly picked them. And he did his thing with the whole logo. It's simple, but it's me. So that's how D Jasmine Orlandis started, and I put D in the front because, like my saying is, there's only one me. There's nobody else that is me that can do what I do. Even though there's 1,000 other people doing it, you can't do it like me because you're not me. So that was my whole motivation behind that. But yeah, I don't even know what the question was, but
no, you answered it. We were just talking about how we got into it, like putting ourselves out there. For me, I I just kind of felt, I don't know, I felt kind of stuck. I'm like, dang, like everybody's in quarantine. This is literally the perfect time. You know, I'll talk to you about it. This is literally the perfect time to do something. Like, Karina, what are you waiting on? I have all these
You
ideas.
sound like me. Don't I tell you that all the time?
Yeah,
Like, just do it.
just do it. But for me, yeah, I was very fearful. Let's put it that way. I was very fearful on how it would turn out. You know, what kind of things I'm going to put out. Are people going to like it? Am I good enough for it? Because I've questioned myself. Like, is this really for me? Like, Karina, are you really going to do this for yours? You know, um, but I just really had, like, I was the only person blocking me from doing it. Like, you know, like here's me, and then here's me, and I just could not get on the other side. One day I was just like, I had all my flyers together, like I said, you know, because I spoke to you before, but I had all my flyers together, people I wanted to interview. And one day I just downloaded this app, girl, and I set my little thing, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna set it. I'm gonna schedule this post, and I'm gonna turn my phone off. Okay. And so once I posted Kicking It with Karina, I got a lot of love. I was like, wow, like it felt good. And it felt good to be you did. But it felt good to be on the other side of fear, and now here we are. But like as far as like the braiding aspect, yeah, my colors they just happened. I thought they looked good together, like you said. I knew I wanted something pink. Honestly, when I dropped the pictures, the professional pictures, that's where the colors came from.
Yeah,
I didn't have like a certain color. I didn't think too deep into it. Usually I would, but I honestly didn't think too deep into it, and it kind of just happened. And I think I had a great come out. So
yeah, it looks great.
Thank you, girl. But yeah, what did I want to say? Being fearful and, you know, getting on the other side of fear, just it's hard, but I think it always needs to be done. That's honestly the best time to do things, when you're scared.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
The greatest opportunity comes from when you're scared. And if you are scared, then that just means you need to have more motivation to do it. Honestly.
Right.
Because if you're too comfortable, that's just what it is. You're comfortable.
If once you reach that place of being comfortable, that kind of just tells you it's time to outgrow it. Right? It's time to go to the next level. It's time to re-up. And I also wanted to add that you just got to believe in yourself. Like you have to really believe in yourself. You have to be confident in knowing that you're going to do your best. You're gonna put yourself out there. You're gonna win it, but that's okay. As long as you believe in yourself and believe in your talent and your craft and your ability to do things that you know you can already do, then you're gonna be fine. Like nobody can tell you no. And 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, their opinion does not count.
And it's like I said before, we see like you mentioned, like even on our level, Maya Simone, Brianna Weaver, Dallas, and it's a lot that's our age doing exactly what we want to do, and seeing others like us can either motivate us or discourage us. And I think there's like a thin line between the two. Like either you're gonna help motivate me and be like, she's doing it, you know what? Let me get off my butt and do it, which is my case. Or even my case has been this whole market is saturated. Like what can I do? And I think that's why you become so hesitant sometimes, because it's like, what can I do that's different than what everybody else is doing?
Yep.
Like what's gonna set me apart? But you answered your own question, because you yourself set yourself apart. You know what I'm saying? Your look, down to how you look, down to how you think, down to how you promote, down to how you market, is going to be different from anybody else's stuff. You know, like I said, my logo, my brand, who can have your name's not my name. You know what I'm saying? Your colors, you know, like you can't do me and I can't do you, but we can do the same thing, you know? Right. So I think people get discouraged a lot about that because of saturation and things.
Right. And I mean, that's a good point, because I mean, you have like people like Rihanna, she has her own, pretty much own everything. Skincare, like whatever Rihanna did, be skincare.
And who else does? Kylie Jenner.
You know, and they both make money. It's really enough room and enough money and enough opportunity and success for everybody. Okay,
And
so
you
like
reach who
let's
you
get
reach,
out
and
there.
your audience, again, like my audience is not the same as your audience, so that's something different as well. Who I reach, you may not reach. There's plenty of
Right.
people, and like I said, plenty of opportunity out there for everybody to capitalize and everybody to reach somebody that they feel they need to reach. And whatever you're putting out, whoever reaches is meant to reach. Who
Yeah.
you reach, I might not reach, but whoever saw it, it was meant for them to see it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So there's no reason to doubt yourself in regards to that. That's easier said than done, though,
Yeah, it
because we
is.
all do that. That's
It
easier
definitely
said than done.
is. Yeah. Speaking of doubting, can you talk about a time like when you were kind of just, you've said it before, but like I want to go in depth a little bit. Can you talk about a time like when you were like you felt like even let's say after you have dropped your logo, you dropped your stuff, like think of a time where you were just like, am I really supposed to be doing this? Like I know for me, I had that feeling after my first interview. I'm just like, Karina, I was so hard on myself. Like, can you talk about a time where you were just you put your content out there and you felt like it could have been better, or um, where you doubted yourself a lot?
Um, since you said after my whole brand and stuff, a recent interview I did, and we've talked about this. This made me really doubt myself when I interviewed Ross and Ray Singleton.
Mm-hmm.
I had asked the question. I don't know if you guys saw it. If you did, guess what? You can go to DTV and see it and check it out. But I had interviewed Ross and Ray Singleton, you know, the couple who was on Ellen due to Ross having, you know, cancer and Ray singing to her. We all know the story. If you don't, you can look it up. But I had asked a question, and I was genuinely asking because I have a personal relationship with Ross.
Mm.
Um, but the way it came out, I didn't. Now I'm gonna fault myself for this because I did not prepare the way I should have. But at the end of the day, it's a learning lesson. So I didn't write any of my questions down. I'm like, I'm just gonna wing it. You know, this is what it's gonna be. I know her. I know them pretty much. I've been following them. The questions are gonna come easy. It is what it is. You know, it's free flowing. But I asked her when it came to the cancer question. Um, I said something in regards to a dark cloud. The cancer. I refer to the cancer as a dark cloud.
Right. Yeah.
Wrong verbiage, okay? Wrong verbiage, completely 100% wrong verbiage. But I didn't mean anything by it. I
Mm.
was just expressing that the cancer can. What I should have said was, I know that the cancer can get you down, but you seem to have been progressing so positively. That's
Right.
how I should have worded it. But I said the wrong thing. That made me very doubtful, and I kind of got a taste of how, not that I'm a celebrity yet, but I kind of got a taste of how celebrities feel when they go through and read the comments. So she had posted that snippet
Mm.
of the video to her page when I referred to the dark cloud, and I know she did not mean anything by it, but her followers was eating me up in the
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like people can really be so heartless. Like,
Mm.
I was like, and I remember like the Gayle King when Gayle interviewed was it Serena Williams about Kobe Bryant and her verbiage, and it's easy to say something wrong,
Mm.
but you can't take it back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that definitely made me not necessarily doubtful, but it definitely put me in a headspace like, I don't even want to really do these interviews no more. I don't even really want to, like, what if I slip up and say something wrong again, and I'm gonna be known as the girl who do live interviews who always saying the wrong thing. Like, I
Yeah.
was doubting myself 100%, and I was like, you know what? And that's a part of the reason why I took a large break to kind of revamp my live, because the reason I even started going live, it just hopped in my lap,
Yeah.
which is just God telling me that I should just keep doing what I'm doing. Thanks, Tony. But but a woman that I met in Charlotte through my mentor, Jennifer Michelle. Shout out to Jennifer Michelle. We'll talk about her a little bit later because she definitely is a huge part as to why I do a lot of what I do and have had the opportunities that I've had. But I met a woman through Jennifer Michelle, and she reached out to me and said, hey, could you do a live interview with one of my artists? No, I take that back. I'm sorry. A guy I've never met before. He followed me on Instagram. He reached out to me and saw, you know, my brand and what I was doing. And he was like, you know, hey, I have an artist that's under my company. Her name is Anais Renee. She can sing, by the way. Y'all check her out. And I want you to do a live interview with her to kind of get her out there. I'm like, and it was right when COVID started. Like, this is right when people really started doing the live interviews and stuff. I'm like, me? Why me? Like, and I really didn't have any content out there like that either. So I'm really thinking, like, why would he have chose me? Outside of, like, hosting and stuff that I would post periodically when I had an event. But I really didn't have much to show for what I did. And I was like, okay, you know, I'll do it. And that's kind of how my live interview series kicked off, that random request. And then the second request was the lady that I was talking about. So I had two people come to me without me reaching out to them, asking me to do interviews with artists. And I'm like, okay, and both of them paid me. And I'm like, okay, this could be a thing. So that's why I turned it into the interview series, and then I started reaching out to the people that I thought would be pretty cool to interview in regards to the live series. So yeah, just don't what's for you is for you. Don't doubt yourself. Opportunity, you have to go get it, but once you go get it, it'll start to come to you for sure.
Yeah, I would say my doubtful time was doing my first interview. Like I told you, I was really, really nervous to even drop the whole Kicking It with Karina segment. I was very fearful. Glad I did it though. But my first interview was with my line sister, Breezy, Brianna Gray.
Shout out to Breezy.
Shout out to Breezy, owner of Collection 11, a new boutique she has started, which is bomb. But I was all up in my head, girl. I was all up in my head. It was terrible. If I really knew like the nerve, like I'd be so nervous over like the littlest things. It's really bad. But after my interview with her, a lot of people said it was really good. They reached out and said, Karina, it's really good. You know, loved it. Didn't really have any critiques. Because I reached out to friends and I asked them, like, what could I have did better? Especially like you and Kayla. Shout out to Kayla. Because we're in the same industry. But yeah, after that, I was like, I don't know. And what was happening was in my mind, I was comparing myself like to veterans like Gia Peppers or D. Danielle Young, who have been doing this literally from, you know, years back, like when they were in college and starting off their journey doing the same thing we're doing. But yeah, I just had to brush it off, man. I was like, it's funny now because I had college and everything.
Right, it's funny now that it's over.
Now that it's over and I'm over it, but
just like my interview hiccup, it's funny now that it's over. I can talk about it, but that day, baby, I was in my feelings. Okay, I was like, oh my God, this was like not good. I should have did this. I should have did that. I ate myself up, honey. I was just terrible on myself. But now now, like you said, it's funny now. But yeah, that was my moment because I was just like, yeah, I don't know. And you were like, Karina, this is your first one. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. No, Karina really does. And I have to, and we talk to each other all the time, especially about what we're talking about now on a personal level. But she calls me all the time. She's presented opportunities all the time. And she calls me like, Orlandis, I'm nervous. I don't even know if I want to do it anymore. She'll like freak herself out. And I'm like, Karina, if they didn't think this is something that my mama told me too. Because I was like that a few years ago. It wasn't something somebody came to me and asked me to host something while I was in college. And it was kind of a pretty big event here back in my hometown in Raleigh. Some basketball tournament thing. And I didn't have no contracts, nothing. So as soon as they hit me up, I was like, oh, I hit up my cousin Tyler. I'm like, Tyler, like, I need a contract. What do I charge? Like, what do I do? Like, what? Mm-hmm. And she's like, and then I told my mom, and he was asking me how much was my prices? What were my prices? I ain't had no prices. So I called my mama, my manager. She ain't really my manager, but I'm pretty sure whenever I need one. But I was like, Ma, he's asking me to do this, but I don't really think I should charge this and that and third. I don't want to hit him over the head. You know, I don't want to. She was like, stop. She's like, if he didn't, he's asking you your price because he's willing to pay your worth. Because if he didn't think that you could do it, he would have never asked you.
Yes, Lord. Yes, that's so.
So I was like, say that, Mom, say that.
That's so true.
Right, because again, doubting our own selves, doubting our talent, we've already have the tools to manifest what's ours. So when people start seeing that, why start then to doubt yourself? You shouldn't. We
Right.
should. So
Right. How do we
after
allow
that,
someone
I
to
was
see
like,
it?
yeah, I get it now. And after
Yeah.
being paid for certain things, I would never not go back to not being paid for it.
Period.
So
Yeah. And it's just like, how do we not see the potential that people already see in us? Like, how that's why, and it kind of circles back to me saying, we got to believe in ourselves and in the content and the stuff we want to put out. Like, I know we can do it. Like, I know for a fact I can do it. Like, like I know I won't doubt myself on that end because I know I'm creative. I know I have the voice. You know, this, that, and the third. But I don't understand. I don't know why we do that. It won't happen again, though, girl. It didn't happen no more.
you want to do what? All right, I'll send my contract to you in a minute.
Right.
What's your email?
Right. Right. But yeah, that's so true. Like, if they didn't want you to do it, of course they wouldn't have asked you. Clearly they see something in you that they know you can do it and deliver the way they want you to. Okay. So let me see. Let's go into some questions. I did a poll earlier and we did have a couple questions. Now this one is a little thinker. Okay, so I'm going to ask it, but we're going to answer it later because I need to think about it. Okay.
Okay.
The question was, where do you see yourself in 10 years? So let that marinate. Okay. Because
I think I can. I mean, you can marinate it, but I think I can.
I'll marinate it. Go ahead.
Okay.
I just want the detailed version of. I know
it ain't gonna be. It ain't gonna be like specifics by any means.
Speak it,
but
speak all the specifics.
Huh?
Speak
no,
all.
No. I'm not saying I don't want to tell specifics. I just don't have specifics. That's what I'm saying. Like it's gonna be an overview. In 10 years, I feel like I'm in a job interview. In 10 years, my brand. There's different avenues I'm wanting to take with my brand. The t-shirts, the t-shirt that I have on, they will be. That is a thing that I'm working on. That I'm launching soon. Shout out to Paige. I don't know if Paige is still on here, but shout out to our girl Paige.
Yes.
She created my website. Y'all, my website is live on my page. Go check it out. Don't leave here and go check it because we need y'all to stay. But when the live is over, go over to my Instagram page and check out my website. It's dope. Paige really hooked your girl up with exactly what I wanted, and it's amazing. But anyway, the few branches that I have that are branching off of just my brand in general, D Jasmine Orlandis. I have the Fit, which is the t-shirts and clothes down the line that is coming out. And then I have VTV where all my live interviews go, and future events and things like that will be on there. And then it's just a lot of things that I have in my mind. I really don't want to talk about, but a lot of things that me and my brother have worked on and talked about. Shout out to my brother. He's like a business genius. He knows. If y'all want some marketing help,
quite hilarious.
Yeah, he's pretty funny too. He'll give you a chuckle or two. But if y'all want any hey Paige, shout out to you.
Hey girl.
But any business help or anything, he's your guy. He's very business mindset. He has a great business mindset. But anyway, a lot of things in regards to different events I want to throw, and over time, sticking my hand in a lot of other different things. Like right now, I'm learning wholesaling and real estate, which is definitely way off of this. So in 10 years, I hope to have a few of those deals to set me up, my business itself to set me up. And yeah, I know that was pretty vague. I don't really have, like I said, I don't have detail on what I want to do, but there are a lot of things I want to check off that I don't really want to speak on. In 2 years, hopefully that's less than that, in really 5 years. So
yeah.
That's
you don't have to. Yeah, no, you don't have to go into specifics or details or anything. But yeah, I think that's good to really venture out and dip into different things that aren't the entertainment industry. I think, like for me, of course, we all want to be successful, and sometimes being successful looks like being wealthy. And to be wealthy, you're gonna have to dib and dab in a couple different things. Like I have considered, I think part-time real estate would be a great opportunity. We're not shy. We have the personalities to sell a house. I'm sure I can sell. I'm sure. If I can't do it, I can learn. That's what we go to school for. But it's a couple things I want to dib and dab into too. But mainly in 10 years, I definitely see myself on a stage in front of a bigger, audience, masses, platform. And I definitely want to go into production, television production. Okay. Working with storytelling.
wanted to do, but
yeah, this is no. I mean, like what we're doing now with our brands and going to get it ourselves, interviewing people this is one way of using our voice and telling other people's stories. And television production is another way I would like to do that. So yeah, I see myself in that lane sometime down the road with a bigger brand. Yeah. So yeah, also those who are in here are great little supporters. Go ahead and drop the questions in the question box if you something pops in your head you want to ask us. Drop it in the question box below. But the next question was, what's some advice someone gave you to help you along your journey? Give it to us. I got one if you want me to start.
Go ahead.
Okay, so shout out to Barbie T. I mentioned her with radio when I got started. There were a lot of ideas I had for radio, and she would just always tell me, and just even like being there and being around other personalities and like wanting to learn radio, learn how to board up and do the board and all that stuff. She would always tell me like, you need to be going over to ask them like, how do you do this, wanting to shadow them or whatever. And this will always stick with me. She said, out of sight, out of mind. So if you not grinding and trying to shadow these personalities and learn from them, if you're not really putting that effort out there, they're not going to think of you to do something, because they're going to be like, well, Karina don't want to do it because she's not trying, Right. So out of sight, out of mind. And that kind of just goes with your brand too, and being consistent. If you're not consistent with any of your stuff, you're not. If you're out of sight,
you have to be consistent, and I'm lacking in that area of consistency. No,
but it's really not though.
I'm really trying to work on it. Or at least I feel like, here we go again. I'm not doubting myself, but I just feel like I can do better in that regard. Yeah. But that's very true.
Yeah, it is. And after she said that, I was like, wow, out of sight, out of mind. So if I literally stop what I'm doing, no one's going to be thinking about, oh, let me ask Karina, she can do this opportunity. She would be great at this. Like, if I'm not putting myself out there, no one's going to think of me to do it when they need it. So that really stuck with me. Yeah, out of sight, out of mind, literally.
I don't know if this is really advice, but again, bringing back Jennifer Michelle, love her to death. She's like a mom to me in the Charlotte area. Met her in 2014. This has been a minute. Wow. But my cousin Tyler introduced me to her, and we've been inseparable ever since. But I started telling her about what I wanted to do. Not really advice, but what she would tell me is, all right, now when you tell me you want to do something, I'm gonna put you to work. Mm-hmm. So that stuck with me, because it's like, you sitting here telling people, it's people out here saying, I want to be a basketball player, I want to be a basketball player, I want to be a basketball player. And then, but you don't practice, you don't get on the court, you don't do nothing. And then they be like, okay, well, come play in this game with us. And then you got all the excuses. No, I can't be in the game today. I can't play today. I don't got my shoes. Like, don't do that. So she taught me that. She's like, anytime, if I'm reaching out to somebody, be ready to take the baton and do what they're asking you to do. Right. Always, I guess the piece of advice from that would be to always stay on your toes. Always be ready to go. TTG.
TTG, train to go. Absolutely. Okay, so the next question was, because I don't want this to cut us off. I'm not sure how long we've been on here.
It'll give you a timer.
Okay. Who or what keeps you motivated when things get hard?
Who or what? I would say it's my family in general, but I would say, being that me and my brother are so close, I would say my brother. Just so I won't have to say a whole bunch of people. Yeah. Because he sees, when I'm doubtful, he sees a lot of potential in me. He's like, Jazz, even if it's like a play, we were literally talking the other day, and he was like, Jazz, you need to really start living. Like, what are you doing? Like, is this what you want to do the rest of your life? And I'm like, get off my bag. Like, yeah. But it's true. Like, he sees so much potential in me. So when I start having those down days, I just think about the conversations that we have, because he, along with all my family, my mom, of course, my dad, but he definitely is and a lot that he's accomplished himself. He's done a whole lot to be 26. Yeah. Literally, I can't even sit here and talk to y'all about it, because it would be literally a long list. Like, from club promoting all the way down to being a mascot for a major league hockey team. Like, he's done a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like, and seeing everything that he's done and put his foot into, definitely motivates me to kind of, that goes back to that shadow thing. It motivates me because I see him doing what he does, and it
Yeah.
motivates me to do what I do. So
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to give it to my friends. You, of course, are one. You already know what it is. Um, yeah,
and y'all too. I didn't mean to leave y'all out. Y'all know. Y'all.
yeah, friends, and then of course these supporters. I mean, we wouldn't be here without them. I don't want to sound like I'm just like Beyonce, but you know, we still have
Yeah.
a good
You didn't have
support
an
system,
audience.
right? Um, yeah, I'll talk to y'all. Shout out to you, Kayla. It's a lot of y'all. Ashley, Megan, Sterling, all of my friends. India. Like, I talk to all of y'all about everything. And y'all just like, Karina, like, you're fine. It's totally fine. Just like that moment when I was just like, I need to be doing something. You know, remember I was in those webinars with Felicia. Shout out to her, love Felicia Butterfield Jones. And you're like, Karina, you're doing it. Like, you don't have to put content out there to be doing it. You're literally doing your research. You're sitting in these webinars. You're learning. You're just getting the foundation part over with, you know. But yeah, that's y'all are what keeps me motivated for real. Because I don't know if I ain't had y'all to talk to, I don't know.
I would say that's a piece of motivation for me as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think I really ever come to y'all doubtful. I just come to y'all and be like, what y'all think? You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what y'all think about this? Because I run myself crazy, be like, what? Like, I know I want to do it, but what do y'all think?
Yeah.
So shout out
Next question.
to our little circles.
Yes, our circles. I love you guys so much. Next question kind of piggybacks. What is the main motivation behind what you do? And we have two questions down here too that I want to get to, and we gotta finish these. So I'll go how to. You welcome, cause girl, listen, I'm a handful. You better think.
Okay, say that, April.
Yes, girl. That's a hard worker. I love me some Beyonce. But this question kind of piggybacks off of the one we just asked. It was what is the main motivation behind what you do? Oh, I guess it's kind of different. My main motivation is just
What's the question?
sorry. What is the main motivation behind what you do?
Oh.
I would say my main motivation behind what I do is really I don't know. I just because I like for me, and I know this is kind of off topic, but like because I have anxiety, there are other people who do art in this industry doing what I do, and they don't really. I've reached out to some people, like I really be like, how do you do this, you know? And they'll be like, you know, I have my days, but you really just got to keep going, and that always sticks with me. So for me, you know, always kind of feeling like I was alone in it. I didn't want nobody else to feel like that. So I guess my motivation is kind of like just inspiring somebody to go out and do it because I did it or because the next person did it or whatever. So yeah, just inspiration. I want to be an inspiration to other people and have them not feel like they're alone in what they want to do.
I think mine kind of piggybacks off yours, but kind of different. Because with my own personal journey, I personally feel like there's a lot of people that I've crossed paths with that didn't believe in me as much as I did. Which who's really going to believe in you as much as you do, besides your parents? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And just opportunities in general that I felt like should have been mine but weren't. And of course, I can't say what's meant for me is me. So of course, whatever I didn't get to do wasn't meant for me. But with the whole experience thing and stuff like that, my motivation is those who don't have a chance. Like me, I feel like.
Yeah.
I felt like I wasn't given, granted, outside of like the people I've come across with, like Jennifer and my cousin Tyler and people who actually see my value, but it's like going out here and convincing people of what I'm capable of is corny to me. Like, why do I have to do that? If I know that I'm capable, just know that I know that I'm capable. You know what I'm saying? Let me show, give me the chance to show you. And I think a lot of people get on their high horse. They forget where they came from. They forget that they had to start before too. And they're just like, no, next. Yeah. I want the person who went to Howard with 3.0 GPA, with the 5-6 internships. They're going to be better than you. Because on paper, they're better than you. So they automatically better than you. And I want them. And so that irks my nerve. You know what I'm saying? Like, if if you're coming into an interview and because your resume speaks, and I'm getting to a point, I promise. If you come into an interview and your resume speaks for you, but your person is bland, I don't want you.
Right.
If you're not showing me that, and this is me personally, if you're not showing me that you're hungry and you're willing to learn and you're willing, look, I may not have what they have, but I promise you my determination and my drive and my heart is more than what they can say. You know what I'm saying? And I promise you, like, I may not know everything, but I'm not hesitant to ask questions. Like,
right.
You just have those who, yes, you might have a long list of things you do, but your hunger is not as big as mine. So my motivation is those like me and helping those like me. If anyone ever comes to me and say, hey, Orlandis, and you already know this, Karina, and everybody that know me know this, help me with this. What you think about this? No, read this for me. I know Tony, very talented. We share content all the time. Donovan, we share content all the time. Friends, just people that I know. Hey, read this for me. Hey, do this for me. Hey, whatever. I'm going to do it. Hey, if it's somebody at Winthrop that's looking up to me, let's just say who's in mass comm as well. Hey, Orlandis, how did you go about making your logo? Because a lot of times people get real big-headed too soon.
Yes.
And they forget that they were once that person asking that person for help. How did you, like you just said, asking people like you, how did you do this? How did you do that? Because I've been there, I've done that, and I appreciate the responses that I've got. But I've also been there and I've done that and been cut off. Like, why are you talking to me? Or you need to pay for my pay for my guidebook because I'm not giving this out for free.
Yes.
That's corny. So that just means you're scared that I'm going to surpass you. To me, you see my potential and now you're scared. So now you ain't trying to. But again, that goes back to what's meant for you is for you. I can't take an opportunity from you because your opportunity is your opportunity. You can't take an opportunity from me because my opportunity is my opportunity. So my motivation is those like me, those like me looking for a chance, who come to me and I'll be able to give them a chance eventually. And I'll be somewhere one day like Gia Peppers doing a free gram, letting you know that this is what you can do and this is what I did, you know?
Yes, we love to see it. No, that's great. Yeah, ours are very similar. Let's see. We kind of grade. Let's get into the questions on here, because this last question we kind of went over. Oh well, we didn't. We can go over this one real quick. Tony had asked, "How did you guys meet?" We met in college with my cousin.
We really met. Let me tell y'all though.
I really honestly don't remember our first conversation.
Karina, I'm gonna tell you.
Please go ahead.
And so me and India, her cousin, everybody knows. I'm pretty sure everybody in here knows India. If you don't, India is India. Karina cousin. We were roomies, friends. Still our friends. Back in our freshman year of college. No, this might have been our sophomore year. One of the two.
It was sophomore because it was my freshman.
Oh, okay. And Karina was going to prom. I had went to Greenville with India one weekend. Me, India, and Brescia. I went to Greenville. And we helped Karina get ready for prom. That was like my first time really, India said, it's me. That was my first time really meeting Karina. We didn't really have much of a conversation, but that was literally my first time.
I remember that. Now that you say
cousin. And then she came for Winthrop Day, and we met again. And then that's when we met each other and started talking about. She was telling me what she wanted to major in. I was like, oh, okay, you know, when you come, I can help you. And it was like history ever since, like literally history ever since.
Yes, now I remember. I forgot all about prom. Like, oh my gosh, I've known you for a very long time.
How you forget that, Karina?
I don't know. Shout out to you though. Okay. Hey, Camille. Shout out to Camille.
No.
Do you see yourself staying in the same location for the next few years? Absolutely not. I am located in Greenville, South Carolina. Let me tell you, baby, you can curse, ain't no filter. Absolutely not though, because Greenville is a great city. I love Greenville. It's definitely growing. It's a beautiful city, but it is not the city for entertainment. Okay, baby. This ain't it. If you want to, if I wanted to go into hard news and journalism, there's plenty of news stations out here I can get into, but no, this ain't it.
Yeah. I see myself being in Charlotte. I don't know for how long. I'm I mean, I'm single right now. I ain't got no
We ain't
attachment.
tied down. We ain't got no kids.
I don't have no kids. So if an opportunity presents itself for me to move to wherever, and it's what I want to do, I'm gonna do it.
Period.
But right now, my goal is to get back to Charlotte.
Yeah. And I think Charlotte is a great city to start, honestly. Like,
and it's coming up. Charlotte is on the come up.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I feel like every city is. But I agree. Let's see what else we got up in here. All right, we already went over these. Let's see. How did they one? We kind of already mentioned this. How did you go about getting over your fear and putting yourself out there?
Just really, doing it.
You gotta just do it, man. You have to believe in yourself. If you don't, then literally no one else will. If you don't put as much effort into your brand, into yourself, no one else is gonna do it. Like just with our brands, if we don't promote it, people gonna be like, "Well, it can't be that good."
Right. Like, I think the main thing with that question, it's like Karina said, just doing it, but also not talking yourself out of doing it.
Yeah.
Something only tag to the chair. Not talking yourself out of doing it, because oftentimes that's what a lot of us do. Even just down to the little things, like even going to the store. I'm gonna go to the mall today. Yeah. Nah, I ain't gonna go to the mall today. It's kind of hot outside.
COVID.
Nah, I got the gas in my car. I can't. But you could have got to a good sale and got you a few items, but because you didn't go, you missed those sale items. Somebody else got them, and now your wardrobe. Like, I'm just being dramatic with that example, but that's in comparison to what you guys are asking. Don't let fear overrule your life. You literally got to do it. Like, there's no other advice. You literally got to do it.
I reach out to a lot of people who are doing what I'm doing now, and they are always like, "You just gotta put it out there." Like Dose of Dallas, we both follow her. I reached out to her because she did like an impromptu live, like she was doing her makeup, and I just asked her because she didn't really have like a certain topic she was talking about, and she was like, "Girl, you just gotta do it." She said, "Interview your friends first." That's how I did it, which of course is a great idea, and I had thought about it, but we're always gonna find one excuse, like, "Oh, I don't know what to do."
Right.
They already said what you you could have did by now. But yeah, that was it in the question box. Do we have any more questions? We have one.
But I forgot.
All right, here we go. April Robin, what's the biggest sacrifice you all have had to make thus far while in pursuit of your careers in media? Oh, girl. I don't even know. I'm gonna be real.
That's a good question, Robin.
I don't know.
I think the sacrifice that I'm foreseeing, I'm really big on what my family and friends and people, not necessarily people around me, but I'm really big on what the advice people give me that care about me. But sometimes that advice is not the advice you necessarily need to take. I do a lot of listening, and that clouds what I really need to tell myself to do. So I think I'm starting to sacrifice advice and just do what Jasmine wants to do and needs to do.
Oh, girl.
Because that holds me back a lot. Oh, no, don't do it. Like, not necessarily nobody telling me not to do it, but it's like, well, maybe you should think about it a little bit more. Or maybe you should do it this way and not this way. Or maybe your shirt should be blue and not orange. Or maybe your shirt should be purple and not white and black. Like, that slows down your process.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then that's a lot of everybody.
Listen to what everybody's saying. So I think for me, sacrificing advice, I know that's kind of weird to say, but sacrificing advice for my own.
Yeah, because really, and I do that all the time. Really, like I ask a lot of people, like, "Oh, what do you think about this, and this? I have this idea, da da da." And then once you're talking to them, now they're putting ideas on top of yours, and then yours is now it's not even an idea anymore; it's theirs. So
just like being in a relationship, you go and tell your best friend that you're dating this guy and he cheated on you. Okay, he could be the best guy in the world. He'll never do it again. He will never do it again. Mm-hmm. But your friend is not going to believe that, and now your judgment is clouded because every time you go back to your friend and tell them about this guy, their outlook on them is just bad.
Yes.
But you see the good. So now you're in between, like, maybe I really shouldn't be with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
When you know he's the right one for you. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, sacrificing advice.
That's a good one. I'm gonna have to. I can't think of that. I can't think of a big sacrifice. That's a good question. I feel like later on down the road, when I really have more time to put into myself and my brand, I'm gonna have one. But until then, I don't have one.
I would say another one would be sacrificing relationships too. Because a
Ooh,
lot of us put time into a lot of relationships when we really should be putting more time into ourselves. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
a word.
I'm a people pleaser personally, so I've definitely learned how to focus on myself a lot more. So sacrificing the time that I give out and pouring it back into my time. Okay.
We both can relate on that one. That's a good one. If you have more questions, we are kind of nearing to the end of the live. If you have any more questions, drop them in the Q&A. But thanks for those who have tuned in. Shout out to Paige, India, April, Susanna, and everybody else that's in here. Corey, Kiesha, Camille, we love you guys so much. But yeah, if you have any questions, please continue to drop them in the Q&A. I'm trying to see what I think we covered everything.
Cancer.
What's your sign? Oh, yeah.
Did you know it? Did you guess it? I'm not big on signs. Do I seem like a Cancer? Some people can be like, oh, okay, yeah, you are a Cancer.
Okay, we have a question. Paige, hey girl. What do you all do for self-care / self-preservation?
Go ahead, Green. You know.
For self-care, just like in general, like self-care. One thing I've been wanting to do, but it's kind of hard because I work in radio. I have to be up to date on news. But one thing I do want to start doing is limiting my time on social media, especially as of now. Like everything is just so depressing.
Yeah.
Especially for the Black community, like it's really depressing. I've had a lot of hard moments this year because of just major leaders in our community dying. Like it's COVID, it's crazy. Like we are stuck in our rooms. We don't have that much social interaction with our friends, so it's just really hard. But one thing I would do want to do definitely is cutting off social media time and just putting my energy into something else, like reading or something, just that. And then I also, like, on the weekends are the only days I get to really just relax. Like for me, I have 2 jobs. So I have an office job and then I work for the radio. And 3 days out of the week, I'm going straight from my office job at 5 o'clock, going downtown Greenville to work at the radio, and I'm there for like 2 or 3 hours. So I be tired. So like on the weekends, I always try to I do face masks. Sometimes I might, soak my feet, do my nails, and sometimes I just literally sit on the couch all day long and watch TV. I don't feel guilty about it because I deserve it. I be tired. Okay. And when I have an extra kick of energy, I might go out of town or something and just have a good time with my friends. But
yeah,
that's it.
I started doing a bit of like journaling. Yeah. I kind of do, and I've been slacking the last week, but I've started doing like I have a notebook, and at the top I'll write my daily goals, and then I'll write my monthly goals on the other side. What was I saying? I don't know.
You journal, and
so I write. On the right side, I write my daily goals, and my daily goals would be like drink water, work out, eat healthy, stuff like that. And then my monthly goals would be like save $1,000 in your savings. Mm-hmm. Watch one wholesale video a day. Blah 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 blah. And then I would have the Bible app. And then I would either my grandma would give me a verse, or I would go find a verse and I'll write that down, and I'll write what it means to me and what I got from it and stuff like that. And that kind of helps me go along my day. And then it's a quote. I'll always write a quote at the top of the page. So that is kind of what I do. Spending time with my niece is always fun. That's my little baby. She's supposed to be here today, but she'll be tomorrow. It's probably best that she wasn't here, because I probably wouldn't be able to say half of what I said.
Right.
So that's my girl right there. Spending time with her is like the highlight all the time. It's like me being a mother without being a mother.
It's Nova Riley. She's a busybody. Very smart. Very smart.
Y'all, she could probably get up here and talk about what I just said. To be 3. But and y'all have seen her, I'm sure. What is your personal definition of success? But yeah, that's really what I do for self care. And like Karina said, I'm gonna answer Bree's question in a minute, but just to finish the self care thing, get my nails done, the basic essential stuff. Drink water. Y'all see these two bumps on my face? They sticking out like sore thumbs. Karina made me drink soda for her birthday. I'm just kidding. She made me do it.
I did not.
But now I'm trying to get this skin back into what it needs to be looking like. So yeah, that and mask. What is your personal definition of success? Happiness to me is success. Like, as long as I'm happy, I'm successful. Because for me to be happy, I have to be hitting the goals and the things that I want within self and monetary and physically. So I feel like my happiness is success. Nobody can take. I could be happy with $2 and a goldfish on the side of the street, but if I'm happy, I'm successful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't take that away from me. It's some people out here that have everything in the world and are miserable.
Oh, girl.
What kind of life is that to live? Not one I want. So my happiness is success. That would be my definition for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Happiness and I would say peace. Definitely peace. I mean, like you said, you can have everything in the world and not be happy, and your whole life can still be chaotic because you're just not happy. Like I mean, you could be, I don't know, depressed is a heavy word, but depressed, you can be going through a lot of things, and I don't want to be that. I want to be at peace. Okay. Yeah, I want to be happy. I want to be, of course, in my dream job or just doing what I like to do. And although I don't want to chase money, I want, of course, money to come and whatever is making me happy, and I'm doing what I want to do. And that's what I believe will happen. Like a lot of times, like I might do internships, and my mom will be like, "Are they paying you?" And I'm like, no, because that experience is what's gonna it's what's gonna get you that next job, hopefully, right? And then the money will come later. I don't really pay attention to it, of course, but I'm not trying to like down on myself either. Like sometimes if I need to be paid, I need to be paid.
Right. If it's paying, listen.
Don't do it.
But no, my mom is the same way. I'll be outside like the Revolt Summit. It's like, Mom, I'm going to the Revolt Summit. Granted, the two opportunities we had, one was paid, one wasn't.
Yeah.
But I was telling her about the paid one, but of course, you know what happened with the paid one. We didn't really work as much. So I ended up going for free. But as I'm telling her, before I could tell her it was paid, is it paid? Well, are they paying for your room?
Right.
Well, what are they gonna do? I'm like, Mom, it is paid, but even if it wasn't, it's an experience. Like, who can say they went to you can go to the Revolt Summit, but who can say they went for free? Who can say they got to do behind the scenes? Like, you never know who I could meet there. That's my whole point.
Your network is your net worth, okay?
Period.
You never know. And the Revolt Summit is a great example because there's a lot of people out there.
There was a lot of people
behind the scenes, not no P Diddy just walking around. We all know he got money, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes that we were able to meet too. Yep. They look like us and probably even as dressed up as us because we went on the first day with heels and looking crazy.
Told us to.
Yeah. But yeah, they look like us, and they had a major part in the Revolt Summit being as successful as it was. So, our definition of success is peace and happiness, and just doing what we love to do. Honestly, making a little profit off of it, That's all the questions I have so far. Everything else we have answered. But I thank you, Orlandis, for joining me. You are doing amazing at what you're doing. I'm very proud of you. Your brand
don't make me cry.
Great. No, I'm for real.
I cried yesterday. Don't make me cry today.
Girl, listen.
Yesterday was a lot for me.
Yeah. But yeah, I just have to pour into you. We have to do this, okay? So just accept it.
Well, thank you, Karina. I'm glad that you overcome your fears and everything that you do. I'm glad that your anxiety does not hold you back, Summer Walker. I'm just being funny when I say that. Obviously, it's not holding her back either. She's great. But that's what I mean by that. Like, even no matter what traumas or whatever you may have, like, it's still possible to be successful in what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Paige.
I agree. Thank you, Paige. And listen, first of all, if y'all not following NC on Scene, please follow her. When I tell y'all, man, listen, I can go on
StageTheBomb.com, okay?
Literally, personality bomb. The girl is creative. She got the skills. She got the talent. She pretty much can do anything. I mean, check her out.
If you need a website, hit my girl up. I don't know if she's still running her special, but you have to hit her up to find that out. But she, again, go to my page, check out my website if you need to see examples of her work. And if you like it, hit her up.
Stop playing, okay? We all gotta get this money. It's enough room for everybody.
Right.
And yeah, so this concludes episode 3 of Kicking It with Karina.
I said,
yes.
This is definitely 2. This is 3. I can count.
Charge it to the head, not the heart.
Right.
Episode 3 of Kicking It with Karina, featuring the Jasmine Orlandis. We love to see it.
And these shirts coming out soon, y'all. These shirts are coming out soon. Not soon, but soon.
Yeah, hit her up.
And they real soft. I mean, y'all can see the quality. I mean, the quality is the quality. You feel me? Dress it up, dress it down.
Mine coming too. I'm copying mine, okay? So y'all better join now while you're
on the way. A few others is on the way, but yeah, I got y'all.
Y'all better get on the way now while you can, because after a while now, we ain't gonna be playing with y'all. Okay, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, y'all.
I will talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye, girl.